Your first client, your first payment, your first big mistake. Nobody warns you. Nobody explains it. And by the time you find out, it could already cost you thousands. You finally see it. Client accepted your proposal. The relief hits first. Then, underneath it, a question nobody warned you about. The client says $1,500, but nobody explains what's actually yours to keep once taxes, unlike a paycheck, aren't automatically taken out. At her old job, a payroll department handled the paperwork quietly, invisibly. Now there's no HR, no automatic withholding, just her and a blank ledger. So she searches, how do freelancers pay taxes? Forum threads, contradicting advice, a tax calculator that asks for numbers she doesn't have yet. Without a system, instinct takes over. A shoebox for receipts, a sticky note that says ask about this later. Later never has a date. One bank account, groceries, rent, and now client payments, all mixed into the same stream with no line separating what's actually hers. At dinner, a friend mentions someone who owed thousands after their first freelance year. The table goes quiet. Everyone does the math in silence. At midnight, she opens a blank spreadsheet. Column A, income. Column B, expenses. Column C left empty because she doesn't know what belongs there yet. She'd heard set aside 30% somewhere. She wrote it on an envelope, then spent from it twice before the month was even over. The excitement of that first client hasn't gone anywhere. But underneath it now sits one persistent question. What is she actually supposed to do first? Buried in her inbox is an invoice from 6 weeks ago, still unpaid. She never built a system to notice. The system was supposed to be her. She takes the call between sips of coffee, agreeing to a few extra hours with nothing written down. No contract clause, no hourly log, just memory. A notice arrives, a late fee, because a quarterly deadline she didn't know existed had already passed. Nobody had told her these dates existed at all. In the mirror, she rehearses how she'll describe her business to a new client, confident, established. Behind her, a pile of unopened mail says otherwise. A client pays through an app bill for splitting dinner bills, not running a business. The money lands the same way a friend's rent payment would. One notebook holds a grocery list, a client's project notes, and a half-finished to-do list. 3 lives compressed into a single, overwhelmed page. Driving home after a client meeting, she isn't thinking about the project. She's doing math in her head. Money in, money owed, money she hasn't set aside. Her project calendar's packed. Deadlines, calls, deliverables. Her tax calendar doesn't exist. Nobody ever told her one was supposed to. Morning coffee, I'll Google it tonight. Evening dishes, I'll Google it tonight. The sentence repeats for a week, and the search bar stays empty. A client emails asking for a completed W-9. She stares at the acronym like it's a foreign language, then opens a new tab. What is a W-9? She almost asks her dad about taxes, but the call turns to small talk instead. He offers, just save some money, which isn't really an answer. By now, there's a folder on her desk labeled taxes. It's been there for a month. She hasn't opened it once. She's afraid of what's inside, mostly nothing. At a traditional job, an employer quietly withheld taxes from every paycheck and matched part of what's called payroll tax. It happened without her ever noticing. A 1099 form works differently. No taxes are withheld at all. The full amount lands in her account, and the responsibility lands with it. Beyond income tax, freelancers pay both halves of Social Security and Medicare, the part an employer used to cover invisibly. It's called self-employment tax. If a rough rule of thumb sets aside around a quarter to a third for taxes, a $1,500 payment isn't $1,500 of spending money at all. Instead of one tax day, freelancers are expected to pay estimated taxes 4 times a year, a quarterly rhythm most people discover only after missing it. Miss those dates, and the amount owed doesn't just wait patiently. Small penalties and interest can quietly add to the original bill over time. But it isn't only bad news. A portion of her home office, her laptop, even parts of her internet bill can often be legitimately written off. Every receipt she's been tossing in a shoebox is actually evidence, proof that lowers what she owes, if she can find it when it matters. Her bank sees a deposit. It doesn't know if that deposit is rent income, a client payment, or a birthday gift. That distinction is entirely up to her. A free number from the IRS, called an EIN, lets her use something other than her personal social security number on client paperwork, a small but real layer of separation. The old idea of just paying everything by one spring deadline doesn't apply here. Skip the quarterly dates, and April becomes a much bigger, costlier surprise. The number on an invoice is gross, before anything comes out. What she actually keeps after taxes and expenses is something else entirely, net. She finds an app built specifically for freelance income tracking. She reads 3 reviews, nods slowly, and closes the App Store without installing it yet. It isn't that she's bad with money. It's that an entire invisible system used to run in the background. And now, for the first time, she has to build it herself. Depending on where she lives, a state government may expect its own separate cut too. A second, smaller system running quietly parallel to the federal one. Armed with a little more understanding, she opens a fresh notebook page and writes a plan. It's a good start. It's also about to run into reality. Before the plan's second bullet point is finished, a client message interrupts. The notebook closes. The plan will continue tomorrow, a sentence said before. She creates a folder labeled Taxes, Sort Later. It feels like progress. It isn't. The folder becomes a filing cabinet for avoidance, not information. She starts opening a separate account, gets 3 screens into the application, and closes the tab. I'll finish this when things calm down, she tells herself. Some nights she imagines a refund solving everything, as if not tracking anything all year could somehow still end in her favor. It rarely does. Over 3 months, she's downloaded 4 different finance apps. Each one gets opened twice, filled in halfway, then buried under the next promising download. A coworker says one thing, a forum says another. A cousin who's pretty sure about taxes says a third. Nobody's wrong exactly, but nothing adds up together. The spreadsheet from that first midnight is still open in a browser tab. Column C, meant for categories, is exactly as empty as it was that night. Eventually, she mutes the banking app's notifications entirely. Not because the problem went away, because not seeing it felt, briefly, like the same thing. A friend texts, "Just use TurboTax, it's easy." True, eventually. But it assumes she already has records to enter. She has a shoebox and a folder marked. Lying awake, she doesn't think about deductions or deadlines. She thinks she should just be better at this, as if the missing piece were personal failure, not information. Sitting in her car outside a client meeting, she genuinely wonders if this was a mistake, not because of the work, because of everything she doesn't know how to manage around it. The next morning, she picks the folder back up, not because it's suddenly easy, because avoiding it clearly isn't working either. Something has to change first. The shift isn't becoming a finance expert overnight. It's building 5 specific habits in order that any freelancer can follow, starting today, not someday. Step 1. A dedicated business bank account. Every client payment goes in one door, completely separate from rent, groceries, or anything personal. No exceptions. A week later, a plain new debit card arrives in the mail. It isn't exciting to look at, but it's the physical proof that separation is finally real. Step 2. The moment a payment lands, a set percentage automatically transfers into a separate savings account, untouched, waiting, already accounted for before spending ever begins. The old paper envelope, the one she spent from twice, sits empty in a drawer now, replaced by a savings account that doesn't tempt her the way cash on a desk did. Step 3. Every receipt gets photographed the moment it's earned or spent, straight into an expense tracking app. No more shoebox. No more guessing 3 months later. Step 4. The same 4 quarterly dates that once caused a late fee are now marked, with reminders set weeks in advance. No more accidental deadlines. Step 5.
So,
instead of piecing advice together from a coworker, a forum, and a cousin, she picks one reliable source, a tax professional or trusted current guide, and asks it directly.
Of your cash flow.
5 habits. Working together. A separate account, an automatic percentage, a home for every receipt, 4 known dates, and 1 trusted source to ask. A second client payment arrives. This time, a percentage transfers automatically. A receipt gets logged instantly, and the calendar reminder is already 3 weeks ahead of schedule. The folder that once just said taxes now has actual tabs, income, expenses, quarterly payments. What used to represent dread now just represents information organized. At the same cafe from months ago, a friend mentions just landing her first client. Without hesitation, she says, "Okay, first thing, open a separate account." A client payment notification appears while she's making dinner. She glances at it, nods once, and keeps stirring the pot. It's just information now, not a threat. If she could talk to the version of herself from that very first invoice, she wouldn't say, "Don't worry." She'd say, "Here are the 5 things, start now." Weeks later, the system barely needs her attention. Money moves where it should. Receipts log themselves. The 4 dates are already marked. It just runs. She still doesn't love taxes. Nobody really does. But the dread that used to sit in her chest has quietly, steadily become something closer to routine. The same kitchen where it all started now looks a little different. Not fancier, just calmer. A small note by the stove simply reads, "Quarterly due in 12 days." A full year of receipts, categorized income and quarterly payments now fills a folder that used to hold nothing but a question mark and a little bit of fear. At a dinner much like that first one, someone mentions being nervous about their new freelance gig. This time she's the one with an answer, not just a worried nod.
The answer will come.
When the bill finally comes, the number matches almost exactly what was already set aside. No scramble, no shock, just a transfer, already covered months in advance. The friend from that cafe conversation months ago now has her own separate account, her own marked calendar. She didn't need to guess. Someone finally told her. None of it required becoming a tax expert. It required 5 specific habits, done consistently, starting the day the first payment arrived. Nothing more complicated than that. If this helped you see the first 5 things clearly, consider sharing it with the next person who just landed their first gig. Like, comment your biggest surprise, and subscribe for more.